Hi everyone, welcome to Scrap Kitchen, the podcast / newsletter where I start a farm while managing a farm, while thinking about farms all the time, and I tell you about it. I'm not doing this alone, I'm doing this with my partner and with a farm team and a supportive family and boss. But it's not just me. I want to say that straight up. This episode is the 10th. I wanted to call it April Rains. I hope for the people listening that you can hear the bird song out my window. It's actually super muggy here. It got to like 28 degrees over the past day or so, and it's like overcast and like sticky. It makes me think about a book that I read called Friend of the Earth, about like a man keeping like millionaires menagerie of animals alive during like the climate apocalypse. Wasn't the best book, TBH, but their descriptions of like wet, damp, yellow, grey, brown weather. Sometimes when the weather feels like this, it makes me think of that. I am also actually looking down wearing brown trousers and yellow tops, so that really isn't helping with like the like apocalyptic vibes. It's actually quite nice out. Spring has properly sprung here in Michigan. There are lilacs just about to pop on the trees. The magnolia are just about to finish flowering. There are redbud trees budding everywhere. On the farm, a lot of brush was cleared and a little patch of garlic mustard was left so that we could do a weed walk next week with anyone who comes out to the farm, showing them the weeds that they can eat. So I'm very excited about that. In other news, I'm getting a couple of poems published, or they have been published in Moonday Mag and the Queer Trans Magic scene. So I will link both of those. I might put my poems on here, who knows. So that's personal news. I didn't do one of these scrap kitchens last week because we worked all day last Sunday. We were at a farm and garden like thing that the library put on for in honor of Earth Day. So my partner and I were like promoting our farm's CSA and our farm, the farm that we work on, not our farm, to people. And so that was very fun. We got to witness several people try turnips for the first time, and several people changed their mind about turnips in front of us. Whether or not they were faking it, who knows? But Hockeye turnips are amazing, so I can see them changing people's minds. And it really got me thinking about like why we do this, why we're like out there in weird weather, doing a lot of lifting and carrying and bending and stuff. And some of it is watching people try a vegetable for the first time, or someone like sharing a story or a recipe about how their family cooked some random vegetable, or like you see them like see a vegetable on the farm stand and they haven't seen something like that since they were a child, and they tell you about it. Like that's such a good reason to do this. But it's also seeing like another reason to do this is seeing the transformation in like the farm team, like the people who've come back since last year, how much more confident they are, how much more questioning they are, which is amazing. They're like, why do we do it this way? Like, I've been reading this book. Why do we do this? What does this person? And I really, really appreciate how much like effort they're putting into learning. The main way we do this, why we want to do this, is to feed people like properly. Our food system is pretty broken, and if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. But in a less guilty way, it's actually very rewarding to like change a piece of land and to provide for the community within it and tie yourself to it in a tangible way where you're physically feeding people. Like that is very rewarding, and it really makes you like appreciate and learn an area when you see the food that it grows every day. Just a lot of gratitudes in it. So an update on the farm that we're currently running. On Friday we planted over like 1.5 k's worth of plants. It was mostly kale, chard, collards and cabbages. We had to wait until Friday to do it because there was a big like frost on Wednesday and then a baby frost, or it got below 0 on Thursday evening, and then it's now like 10 degrees at night. It's crazy. Climate change. But yeah, so we planted all of those in on Friday. We also potted up, so that's moving little seedlings into bigger pots. We potted up like 400 plants as well all on that day because we now had space to put them. Everything sort of shunted out and then into the field, and it was amazing. So we potted up peppers, aubergines, tomatoes, and yeah, then we have more to plant next week. We are currently 1 week, less than 1 week to go until our CSA starts, which is our like veg box scheme where you get vegetables each week. So I think we're pretty good for actually having the vegetables we need to start, but the radishes are not doing well, and that was going to be one of the crops we were going to include. And these are the problems that one faces as a farmer. You're like, my radishes are doing shit, and the climate's losing its mind. But yeah, so that's a vague update on what we're doing. In terms of the future farm, there's not much to report. It has been a pretty, I would say hectic couple of weeks. We had 1 day off in the past couple of weeks until yesterday. So rest is the number one order of business. But my partner and I have found out about $5 mimosas at a local bakery that we're going to go to tomorrow. And then we're going to work on our business plan because we now have Mondays off because we switch our schedule to Wednesday to Sunday so that we can be open. The farm stand can be open and people can come pick up the CSAs, and the UPIC can be open. So our schedule's switching up and we have a long weekend now, which is wonderful and necessary. So the long weekend is going into the future farm planning. Yeah, that's quite a lot for updates. Oh, another big one, the asparagus is popping. For anyone who hasn't seen how asparagus grows, it looks fake. But it is delicious, and once it starts going, we will be picking asparagus for 2 hours every morning for a month. So I am very excited for it to be popping up, but I am also like, I don't know, it feels like gearing up for a marathon because that means the season's really underway. So resting up, getting ready for the big run. Yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on right now. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. See you all on the flip side.